It's time to prep for the trading week. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. Today, it is May 5th, 6:52 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's time to prep for the trading week. So I want to remind you that in this video, we're going to be breaking down the top 5 stocks that our group members see value in. If you ever want to just subscribe to the channel, again, I'd love to answer any questions you might have. And hey, maybe next week I can be breaking down your top stock. None of these stocks are stock suggestions. I want to remind you that this is just people's opinions, and I'm going to be breaking them down and giving my opinion. If you have any questions after this live stream, feel free to comment down below or shoot me a direct message via Discord or via Instagram, which is linked in the description of this video. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at and the trading platform that I trade on. If you ever want to download Webull, they do have a free sign-up bonus, and you can have more than one trading application, just a little heads up. And that's the 5th link in the description down below. And if you use my link and deposit $5 when you sign up, you'll earn up to 12 free shares. If you have any questions about that, again, do not hesitate. Just shoot me a DM. So sit back, relax. If you have a stock that you would like me to break down, share it in that live chat, and hopefully I can earn your thumbs up and maybe even consider subscribing if you feel like we earned it. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. One of the stocks that I wanted to start this video off, this is my opinion, this is the one that I'm paying attention to, and I want to remind you, just because a stock is overbought does not mean that it has to pull back this week. But I talked about it in today's earlier video, and I want to get your guys' thoughts. Do you think that Carvana stock is overbought? Carvana stock is up 48% since reporting earnings. Check this out. From the overall lows to its current trading price, 48%, currently trading at the highs of 122.19, and it has huge pullback potential. A lot of you guys know that I like shorting stocks that are overbought. There's obviously no sign of confirmation. This thing's still far above the EMA line. It's not indicating any signs of a reversal, but it doesn't mean that it can't, right? And this is why I love staying patient, or I can't say that I love staying patient. This is why I remind myself that I need to stay patient, because this thing can go higher for longer, which is why we don't want to open up at the short position beforehand. But if we do get confirmation of progress below that EMA and actual progress of this thing selling off and retracing back to its previous lows of $81, I don't think that it's going to go back down to $81, but I think that we can see a retracement maybe back down to 110, maybe from 110 to 105, maybe $100 flat. I mean, anytime anything pushes up 48%, almost a 50% gain, you almost kind of have to scratch your head and be like, okay, this might be an overreaction. Maybe it's not the worst idea to take profits, and maybe prepare for the market to correct itself. So you guys let me know what you think. Carvana is one of the stocks that I'm going to be breaking down or broke down and paying attention to this week. I also want to make you aware of all the different stocks that are going to be reporting earnings this week. So these are just some of the main companies that are set to report earnings this week. On Monday, we have Spirit. This is before the market opens. On Monday, after the market closes, we have Palantir. That's PLTR, Peter Thiel's company. A lot of you guys, people have been paying attention to this. Tuesday, Disney, before the market opens. We have Celsius, we have Crocs, we have Nikola, we have Ferrari, we have BP, all reporting earnings. How cool is it that we get to invest and trade companies that we use every single day? As well as after the market closes on Tuesday, we have Rivian, we have Upstart, we have Lyft, we have Wynn, all reporting earnings after the market closes. And Reddit, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the first time Reddit is going to be reporting earnings. I'll double check on that. But again, something to pay attention to. Uber set to report earnings before the market opens. Shopify, and then we have Affirm, we have Toyota, all reporting earnings before the market opens on Wednesday. After the market closes, ARM, Robinhood, Airbnb, AMC, all reporting after the market closes. We got Beyond Meat, BYND. Thursday before the market opens, we got Roblox, Warner Brothers are some of the main ones. And then after the market closes on Thursday, none of these actually stand out to me. So if you guys know any of these companies, great. They report earnings after the market closes on Thursday. And then Friday, DigitalOcean and Sphere. Okay, those are about the only 2 companies, and HEI. Other than that, I don't really know any of the other companies that are reporting earnings on Friday before market opens. But let's go ahead and break down your top stock. Ricky, are you in Cali? No, I am in Arizona. So this is my trading office at my house in Arizona. But yeah, so all right, let's go ahead and jump right into it. If you want me to break down your top stock, make sure you share it right now in the live chat. If you do have to be subscribed to the channel to partake in that live chat. And also don't forget to drop a thumbs up if you want me to break down your stock. So Ricky, could you please review SAVE? Thanks in advance. Of course, I appreciate you asking so politely. Let's go ahead and break this down. So SAVE need some saving. That was my dad joke to our LPP team. Spirit Airlines is in the brinks of filing for bankruptcy. This thing has been struggling ever since it reported that, the partnership between, was it United Airlines, got blocked by the government because it could be viewed as a monopoly. I didn't think so. I think there's much bigger monopolies out there that haven't been stopped, but hey, who am I to judge that? I went from a trading price of $15 per share and it's been selling off ever since then. If it has, this is kind of like a Hail Mary. If you think that it's going to get saved and you think that they're going to allow some form of partnership or buyout, or it's going to make its way to be able to not file for bankruptcy, then hey, you could possibly be getting it at $3.41. My risk with this is that it will file for bankruptcy. And what if it does? Then at that point, the process is it gets delisted from the stock exchange. It's going to continue to go as close to zero as possible. $3 is cheap, but guess what? $1.50 is cheaper. And trust me, when these stocks are dropping, they drop hard and they drop quick. So this is just too risky of a stock for me. I don't like trading these kind of high risk stocks. If you like kind of just going for those Hail Mary approaches, that's up to you. But overall, even just on the technicals, lower highs, lower lows, consistent descending pattern. And I just don't see there to be a reason that I would personally want to buy into this because of how risky it can be. I do agree with you that yes, it can all of a sudden begin to recover. Sure. It's just not the risk that I'm willing to take. But again, we all see value in different ways. So if you do, all power to you. Feel free to take the trade if that's something that meets your criteria. So all right, let's go ahead and break down Nvidia. So Nvidia is not going to be one of the top 5 that I break down for this video, so don't count this as one. I'll just feel free to give you my thoughts. Nvidia is too big of a company. We talk about this in every live session. Nvidia is recovering from its lows that it hit from 782, right? It's testing previous resistance zone right around $900 per share. This will be a critical point. If we show progress beyond 900, I think that it could go back to retest previous highs and maybe finally hit $1,000 per share. The risk with this is that if it gets rejected here, then we're most likely going to sell right back off to 750 and then possibly make new lows. So right now, I would say that this is going to be a pretty big week for Nvidia because it will give us a better sense of direction of, is it going to try to recover and make new highs, or is it headed right back down to 750 per share? I'm very excited to follow up with Nvidia, but again, I think that we need to better see where the market is heading, and that will better tell us where Nvidia will be heading as well, right? Nvidia sits at a $2.22 trillion market cap, so please make sure that you're aware of that. So we got chaps asking about BLK, which is BlackRock. Let's go ahead and break that down. So here we go. All right. BlackRock on the day chart, you could see that it's coming back from a nice little retracement, a lot of consolidation here. It looks like it's pending a potential reversal. If we break above that EMA line based off previous patterns, you can see that old support levels are becoming new resistance levels. We're kind of in this consolidation phase. Are we going to begin to recover right back to highs of 840? Or are we going to break its support and then actually continue to sell off? Those are the two alerts that I would set here. In this consolidation phase, I wouldn't care to buy because direction is unclear. If you don't care to wait for clear direction, that's on you. Feel free to buy early if that's what it is that you want to do. How many times have you taken a trade and then you end up regretting it because you're like, oh wow, I would have never purchased if I would have known that it was going to sell off, or if it was going to recover and I was trying to short it. It's too early to tell. It's in the consolidation phase. And just like we talked about in our LPP lesson library, you need to wait for direction to be clear. And direction is not clear. We don't know if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down. So that's why you just set alerts and wait for that proper confirmation. Those are my thoughts about BlackRock. So, all right, INTC. So that is Intel, right? INTC. Let's go ahead and break this down. Again, if you want me to break down your stock, feel free to share it in that live chat. Intel was one that got absolutely wrecked this week. So Intel, lower highs, lower lows, consistent descending pattern. Again, this is more of a Hail Mary type of approach. Intel has been a struggling company ever since AMD came into the mix, and then Nvidia just went in for the slam dunk. Consistent lower highs, lower lows, hit lows of $23. It tried to make a comeback to highs of $50, and it's been on a consistent downturn ever since then. If you think that it's going to be beneficial for you to try to buy down here because you think it's going to begin to recover, then that's on you. As of right now, I think that it's oversold, but what I've learned from the stock market is that the cheap can always get cheaper. So if you can tolerate the time that it's going to take for the stock to potentially recover, then that's on you, right? When looking at this on the 4-hour time frame, I don't see there to be a break of pattern. I see this thing to consistently be selling off. So how about we just set our alerts, and if it actually begins to indicate signs of recovery, then maybe you can take a second chance to relook at this and be like, hey, is this something that I want to buy into? Direction is in my favor. Okay. And revisit it. But right now, as of right now, and please feel free to share your thoughts about this. too bearish, too consistent, and returning back to its previous trend, which is extremely bearish. Yes, $30 is cheap, but $23 is cheaper, and it's already been there in just the past few months. So please make sure you take that into consideration. DJT. Well, I would have loved to short it. I would have loved to short DJT. I know I've talked about this to my LPP team, but right, I trade live with them every morning. But are you guys aware that DJT is pretty much blocking the ability to short the stock? Are you guys aware of that? I was going to film a video about it. I feel like I talked too much shit on DJT, so I decided not to. But are you guys aware of why that is happening? No? Yes, I tried to short it and I couldn't. Okay, so for those that are unaware, pretty much from their execs, DJT sent all of their preferred shareholders and all of their retail investors, other retail holders, a letter saying that, hey, you can write a letter to your brokerage telling them that you do not want your shares to be available to short. Imagine if Elon were to send all of Tesla investors a letter like that, but you can do that. I mean, it is a legal thing that you can do. So this letter went out to all of DJT's shareholders, and pretty much they got this letter that they were told that they could. I can't say that they were encouraged, but they were told that, hey, you can tell that your brokerage, you don't want your shares to be borrowed against, because that's what shorting is. You are borrowing shares to then buy them back to cover. And the interest rate is also very high if you are able to short it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So if you could see, based off of my Webull trading application, I'm not able to short it because there's not enough shares to be available to short. So that's kind of the upsetting part. Do I think that DJT is a good buy here? Heck no. I would never buy DJT at $46. Now, that's not to say that DJT can't go higher. I'm just saying that DJT is a pump and dump. We all know this. Everyone knows this. I don't care if you're a Trumpy, if you're a Biden-y. It doesn't matter to me. It's insignificant. I don't care if you support Trump. I don't care if you support Biden. Your opinions or preference is irrelevant. This is a stock. This is a company that's supposed to report growth. And guess what? The only reason that it's trading at a $6.55 billion market cap is because of the person behind it and his name. It's called the lighthouse effect. And if anything happens to Trump and or that hype does not follow, get ready for the stock to crash. I do want to say that if anything good happens, if he ends up winning this case, if he ends up winning the election, get ready for the stock to skyrocket. I don't think that this stock is really a measure of the success of Trump media and their social media application. I think it's a measure of, is Trump winning or is Trump losing? And I think that's the best way to put it. You let me know what it is that you think. But again, that's just my 2 cents. I would have loved to open short and get ready for this thing to pull on back $10 to $20 per share. But guess what? I can't short it. And that's just what I have to understand. So do you trade options? I do not trade options. So I never have, never will. It's not something that I do. It's not, I trade shares. So, all right. Again, if you want me to break down your stock, feel free to share it in the live chat and we'd love to break it down for you. So PANW. We'll break down 2 more stocks and then we'll call it a live stream. Okay. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time this Sunday. PANW, Palo Alto. Yeah, it's testing previous highs. There's no clear direction, higher highs, higher lows, none of that. Let me see here on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so a nice little pullback, aggressively sold off. I would have to look into this. This isn't just a random thing. This is probably because it reported earnings. Something happened here that sold off. It's been consolidating since, what is that, the year 2000, 2020? Yeah, it's been trading sideways. Wait, is that? No. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm on the 4-hour time frame. That's earlier this year. It's been trading sideways for the past 4 months. When looking at this on the day chart, Palo Alto was a very bullish stock. So, hey, I mean, this might be a stock that we might want to buy into, right? It looks like it corrected itself. I just want to look into why it's sold off. So I don't feel like this stock is going to be solely technicals. I think it also has to be fundamentals on why it's sold off, understanding that, and to see if it's done its way to actually work its way back up to that $380 price point. Because that's the big question. Are we going to continue to consolidate here? Because if so, then this is a sell. It's not a buy, because then it's most likely going to get rejected based off previous patterns. But if it has fixed that problem and we break above this resistance, then yeah, we can possibly end up working our way back up to previous highs. Let me go ahead and do one more stock and I'll break down and then we'll call it a live stream. Okay. Volume looks strange on this one. Let me go ahead and go to the 1 minute. Yeah, so when the candles look like this, that means that it has lower, when you have these broken candles where there's no change of range, that means that within that minute, there was no change of price range. So it didn't go up, it didn't go down, it stayed at that. I don't like stocks that trade with that low of volume, especially with the dollar amount that I trade with. It's not something that I personally want to open myself to. Just a little heads up on that. Let's go ahead and do Hood. I'll do Hood, and then I'll break down one stock that is going to be reporting earnings this week, right? So we got Robinhood. Robinhood has had a pretty solid performance for 2024. You guys can see from lows of $7.91, an insane return, but it looks like it's been lacking progress. Again, this is just on the technical side, but you can see from overall lows that it's had here from $7.91. It's been making higher highs and higher lows. Even last time it did retest, built the support, and then made new highs. So maybe that's what we're setting up for once again. It pulls on back, trades sideways, and maybe we're looking for a breakout. But if this thing ends up getting rejected and goes back to retest, and then we show progress on the downside, get ready for this thing to pull on back, because although it doesn't look like it's trading at a very high price point, when anything goes from $8 per share all the way to highs of 21, I mean, that's over a 100, almost 200% return, right? So please make sure that you're aware of that. This was a previously very bearish stock. Now it's very bullish. So again, also something to take into consideration. Is this hype that, got factored in, or is it something that's actually trying to make a comeback? Something to take into consideration. So one of the stocks that I want to break down, let's see. Is it going to be Palantir, Disney? We got Shopify, which was one of the ones that got destroyed last week. So I know Disney has been pretty much trading sideways after pulling on back. So it's about to report earnings. I would love to see this thing pull on back. I could potentially buy it for a long-term play if it comes back down to $96 per share. But if it runs up to 122, then I will just have to miss out on that opportunity. And then there's Palantir, which is PLTR, also reporting earnings this week. Higher highs, higher lows, from lows of $5.84. It looks like 2024 was a big comeback year for a lot of stocks that got hit hard after the pandemic. Lack of progress as of right now. We'll see if it ends up continuing to try to make new highs or ends up pulling back and retracing itself. What else? Rivian, don't have high hopes for that. We got Uber, and we have ARM. Yeah, I want to look at Shopify. That's going to be the one I want to pay attention to. So Shopify reporting earnings this week, and that's going to be before the market opens on Wednesday. So Shopify making a slight little comeback after a pretty solid pullback in 2022, hitting lows of $23.63 with higher highs and higher lows. Recent pullback down to this moving average. Shopify just has really dramatic moves recently, especially when it comes down to earnings. So it looks like it's been making steady progress on the way up, lacking progress now on the way back, and in actual showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. So you could see that, since when's this? 2022, higher highs, higher lows, but pretty much all of 2024, it began trading sideways and then now has pulled on back, testing the moving average and pending an overall reversal. So I would say that direction is not very clear on this one as well. It is holding above the moving average. It's testing the EMA. But again, the big question is, are we going to gap up or gap down? I want to remind you, I don't like trading during earnings. I like to trade after earnings. So if this thing all of a sudden begins to drop and I view it to be oversold, then maybe I'll consider buying, just kind of like what I said with Disney, something to take into consideration. But again, race, okay, I'll have to look at it because Ferrari is reporting earnings this week as well. Extremely bullish, very low volume when it comes down to Ferrari. Can it go higher for longer? Of course. Ferrari is nearly at all-time highs. It's trading at almost a $77.5 billion market cap. And you can see these higher highs and higher lows. It's retesting previous highs. Can it go higher for longer? Of course. I mean, I feel like that sports industry is, or supercar industry is better than it ever has in the past before. But we'll see. We'll see how they end up reporting. Is it so overbought that when the earning report comes out that it gets corrected because, it's being brought back to earth and it was an overreaction based off previous, patterns? Or is it something was not already factored in and it ends up making new highs? Something we'll have to take into consideration. But I love paying attention to these stocks when they report earnings. I love live streaming them. And again, I plan to do that this week. So again, just another reason to subscribe to the channel. I want to remind you that this week, again, especially with all those different earning reports, if you're holding or invested in any of those companies, there's most likely going to be extreme volatility leading up to that. So please make sure that you take that into consideration. And if there's any questions that you might have, especially before stock reports earnings, earnings and you want to hear my 2 cents, feel free to let me know either down in the comment section, or feel free to reach out to me via Discord or via Instagram, which is linked in the description down below. I really do appreciate you guys' time. Again, I hope that it earns your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And remember, I'll be trading live right at market open tomorrow morning. And if you want to tune on in, it's the second link in the description down below, especially if you're someone that learns best by watching other people do. Just like myself, again, you can see all of my entries, all of my exits live within that trading session when I'm actually taking a trade. So if you want to tune on in, second link in the description down below. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access, and right now it's 50% off just for you. Appreciate your time like always. Let's make sure that we end the year on a